Okay, we have Mudita.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Okay.
I have no questions today.
No
Just
question,
here,
Mudita.
no questions ค่ะ Just here for listening.
You just want to listen.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Naomi coming in. Uma Kwashi. Okay. Hi, Naomi. How are you?
Hi. Hi, Ajahn. I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay. You still practicing?
Yeah, I am. I'm practicing as much as I can. Actually, your advice for me the last few months has been just really helpful to get me to practice sort of the right amount to keep pushing myself. It's been really, really helpful for me.
Yes. This is the right exertion. You have to keep pushing yourself to the limit that you can push, but not over the limit, because then you can become frustrated. So it's like tightening the string, the violin string. Too slack, you cannot play it. Too tight, you can break the string. So you just have to find the right balance between being too lazy and being too diligent. You have to find somewhere in between. You have to consider exerting or practicing is your target. Because with practice, there'll come the result. Don't target the result, because the result never happens without the practice. So you should target the practice, and then the result will come according to the practice. The more you practice, the more you get the result. So it's just simple logic, cause and effect. So you got any question today?
Yeah, I have one. If somebody is helping me and with requisites to help me push my practice along, how can I make sure that I'm worthy of, or I feel and I am worthy of what they're offering me?
Well, first of all, it should come naturally from them, not because you impose on them. It should be a voluntary process. Then you won't feel obligated. But then if you want to show your gratitude, then you would do what you're supposed to do, what they're supposed to support you with. Not giving you the money and then you go shopping instead of buying food or pay for your retreat. So, but first of all, must not impose on other people for help if you can, because it will not be right. It should come out of their own heart, should come out of their own volition. And then, just like monk, we go collect food. We don't impose on people to give us food. They can give us, or they don't have to give us. And one way to show our gratitude is to practice fully as much as we can. And that's it. You shouldn't feel any regret or any feel like you're not doing enough for them. You're doing for yourself, so don't worry about them. Your goal is to do it for yourself, and by thinking guilty, you're hurting yourself, which is opposite from what you're trying to do. You don't want to hurt yourself. You want to make yourself happy. But sometimes yourself, your ego tend to act in a egoistic way. Oh, I have to do this and do that for them. Just do what you're supposed to do and do as much as you can. And if they're not happy and they want to stop supporting you, that's fine, because you don't expect it from them in the first place. But if you expect them to keep supporting you, then you might feel pressured to do things maybe more than you can do. And if you cannot do it, then you feel bad, you feel guilty. You should also look at it this way. When they help you, they are making dana. They do it for themselves, not for you. So you don't feel, you should feel that they should be thankful of you because because of you, they have an opportunity to to make dana. Without you, then they cannot give dana to you. So it's something that we just don't try to feel pressured. You know? That's all. Just do accept give if the people give willingly, but if they don't give, don't feel disappointed either. Just you always want to make your mind happy, not sad. And sometimes by expecting too much from yourself can cause yourself sadness unnecessarily. Okay. Yeah. You still see your sister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the one who's helping me.
Yeah. But she sent in question, but she never comes into Zoom. Maybe she's busy or doing something else.
Yeah. I think she might be busy at the time. Yeah.
And she's got 2 children, 2 kids.
She has three children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And your partner is okay with you? You're practicing?
So far.
But he doesn't complain.
No.
Yes.
So far, no. But I'm pushing it to the limit, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one day he might say, "Oh, you're not performing your duty toward me. Maybe I should leave you."
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Right now it's I can do both.
Can you take that if you're forced to separate?
I think so. I
You have
think
to choose between practicing and living with your partner.
well, I'll have to wait and see, I think, because right now
you should
no.
think ahead of it. So when the time comes, you won't be, then you would know what to do. Okay. Any more questions from you?
No, that's all. Thank you very much. That's
Okay.
very, very helpful. Thank you.
All right. You can ask more later on after we finish with the first round.
Okay.
Okay. We'll go to Sui and Czech. Hi, Sui and Czech from Vancouver, Canada. It's early morning for you, huh? Must be 5 or something.
Not the early, it's 5 already.
Yeah. Well, meditator, we get up early anyway, 4 o'clock in the morning, usually.
Yeah, it's natural.
Yeah.
It just
Okay.
happened natural. Yeah.
You have
You have
anything?
a lot of newcomer today, Ajahn.
Oh, really? That's good.
I think so.
I'm using
Yeah.
the phone, so I only see just the four people on the screen, and I just don't want to move around.
Yeah, if you want to come back to us later, maybe you can. Maybe you want to talk to the newcomer first.
Okay. Then you'll go to new people first. Then. Yeah. I think Julia, you're next. Hi, Julia. I think you've been here before. You're from Sweden, if I didn't.
Yes, I've been here. So I'm in a regular Zoom meeting with my main teacher Ajahn Jeff in California. So that's why I haven't been here. But I have a few questions. So I have a daughter who is 2 years old, and her best friend now has lice in the hair. So this is a problem for the first precept, or for the precept of not killing. So I wonder if do you think using a lice comb, would that be against the precept of killing? like
Well,
a comb to, yeah,
I think
to,
that if you want to practice the Buddhist way, you just shave the head.
yeah, but with
Yeah.
a kid or, you know, it might be
Yeah.
hard for when you're working you get a lot of questions and so forth.
Give her
Do
a
you-
wig, buy her a wig to put on.
By a wig. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to kill the lice. And you can also teach your kid how to practice Buddhist practice, for not killing. I think you gain more than you lose. You lose the hair maybe, but you can have the opportunity to teach your children how to exist without having to kill. Okay.
And then the other question is on the Buddha's financial advice. So as I understand it, he was quite clear that we shouldn't take. He was against like taking loans.
Yes, no loan. Try to live frugal. Just live within your means, because then you won't have any problem pressuring you. If you have loan, you're pressured to repay the loans, and the benefit you get doesn't worth the cost you have to pay. So it's better to abstain, to refrain from buying things that you cannot afford to buy, and live frugally.
So in the area where I live, basically, if you want to own your own property, you basically, if you're not rich, you have to take a loan.
This guy's loan is okay if you within your means to pay for your loan, then it's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But if it's
And
not
that is also in the canon that perhaps that situation wasn't there back then.
No, it's a different situation. There it means that when you want to buy something and then you don't have the money, and then you just go borrow money from other people, then you shouldn't do it. You should just restrain yourself from buying things that you cannot afford. Because what we need is just the 4 basic requisites of life: food, clothing, shelter, and medicine. Other things you can just forget about it if you cannot afford it.
And then the third question I had was on walking meditation. I've started to do walking meditation for at least half an hour per day, and so I think I have some results now. My first results, and that is that I can walk with a feeling of a nice feeling of like the seed of rapture in the hands. So it's this tingling, pleasurable feeling in the hands. Also, when I walk, I used to have this only when I'm sitting. And then, so I have this good feeling in the hands, but usually my spot where I try to be when I meditate is in the front, it's in the chest. But when I walk, it's hard to focus on the chest because it feels like it's a little bit tense, or perhaps because I'm walking, you have to kind of tense more in the front and in the stomach. So I was wondering, should I switch to only thinking about the hands because there is pleasure in them, or should I try to work on opening this spot in the front, or what would be your suggestion for walking meditation?
Normally, when you walk, you want to concentrate on your step, on your foot, on your feet, left, right, and also watch the path that you walk ahead of you. So make sure you don't run into something. But basically, you can use your step as your meditation object, because that's what the body is doing. See, the body is walking, so you should concentrate on the walk, not on other things at the time. Or if you're brushing your teeth, then you should use brushing your teeth as your object of meditation. So you can meditate all day long if you know how to meditate. If you're eating, you use eating as your object of meditation or focus. Just keep focus on what you do. Then you will have mindfulness, not jhana, but you will have mindfulness. And with mindfulness, when you sit, then you can have jhana later on.
Thank
So
you.
walking, being mindful of what you do is a way of developing mindfulness that you can use later when you sit to enter into jhana. So we can practice practically in every posture, except when we have to use our thought, then we cannot use this. We cannot stop our thinking. When you work, when you have to make plan or use your thought on your work, then you can only be mindful, just focus on your thought on working, but you're still thinking. See? So this is not considered to be the right kind of mindfulness. The right kind of mindfulness is just to be aware of what you do and not thinking. If you do things that is routine, then you don't need to think. See? Then you can just watch. Okay. Any more questions? How often does Ajahn Jeff give his Zoom meeting? Or you? Okay.
He has different Zoom meetings, but I'm in a Zoom meeting which is once a week.
I see. Is this open to all other people as well?
It's not really clear to me how open it is. It's like I got the opportunity to join with a link, but I don't think he shares it on like the website or something like that. So it's a little bit hard to. It was hard to get to this spot that I have of being able to, and I can only ask like one question a week maximum, something like that.
Okay. You can join us once a week or so. We try to keep it once a week. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I'll move to the next person then. I think it's Alvin Lee. Hi, from Malaysia. Alvin.
Hi, Tanajan. How are you?
Good. Any question today?
Yeah, Tanajan, I was just reading something on this Ajahn Man's walking meditation. It says that walking meditation have to be 17 steps minimum, but from west to, when you walk from west to east and east to west, not from north to south or south to north. Is that a reason why not from north to south and south to north?
Well, nobody there to ask the reason.
I see.
So we just take it as a recommendation. But if you really in hard place where you cannot walk left east to west, if you have to you're forced to walk north to east, I think north to south, I think it's okay also. Shouldn't be much of a problem. Yeah. But normally, if you make a path, then try to make it east to west or slightly diagonal, but not north to south. Maybe due to the rotation of the earth, I don't know.
I see.
The earth rotate east to west, west to east, So maybe you want to move along with the rotation and not walk against the rotation. If you're walking north and east, then you're walking against the rotation of the earth. This is my view anyway.
Okay, because I was reading, and then 17 steps is the minimum, right? He said that.
I think normally it should be about 20 or 25 to be considered minimum. And I'm not sure if you read 17 in the books, I guess it's 17. But I normally like to use about 25 or 20 if I have to.
So,
but
yeah,
you can try it and find out how many steps you like for you. It's like driving a car. They have different seat you can arrange for your yourself, right? When you drive a car, you can adjust the speed accordingly. So this is like the walking, jump meditation. You adjust the step, you adjust the path, because sometimes you're in a position where you cannot fix the path according to the east and west direction. Then you might have to adjust a little bit. But I think the main goal here is not, these are, we consider what you call auxiliary information.
I see.
Principal information is mindfulness, really. Sometimes people spend so much time preparing for the path and then they don't walk, they don't use it.
Yeah. 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 So, okay. So if there's walking, there is a direction which is recommended. When you do sitting meditation, is that a specific direction you should face, or you can face any direction? It's fine.
Normally, no, but usually during the Buddha's time or during the monks want to know that where his teacher stays, and he wants to turn his face toward his teacher's direction when he meditates.
Right. Okay.
Like if you want to meditate, if you take the Buddha as your teacher, then you have to point to the direction from where you are to India, see, where the Buddha lives.
Right. Okay. So in our case, it's west, right? It's the west of.
Yeah, you have to turn west, look west.
Look west. Right.
Slightly north, because you're south also. You have northwest.
Yes, correct. Northwest. Yeah.
But this is not really important, but just to show respect. I think that's a story about the Venerable Sariputta. He always makes sure that he turned his head toward the Buddha's direction, not his feet, because feet is considered to be the lower part of the body. Yeah. To show respect to your teacher, you always want to set, point your head, not your feet, toward your teacher.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. I'll go to Philip. Hi, Philip. Any question today?
Hi, Tanajan. I have a few questions on defilements as it is. The first question is that during meditation, defilements sometimes do arise, and I mean it can be overcome by you either fixing your mind to the object of a meditation or a mantra, and that is not an issue. But when you're engaged in the normal course of life, defilements do arise, and often you can also use a mantra to subdue it, or you can also use wisdom that is non-self, is suffering, and there is impermanent. What are your thoughts on that? Number one, and my second question is on the defilement of conceit, which is mana, which it's very, very subtle. Where sometimes you do feel that you are better. Sometimes you are feeling that you are worse than people or situations. How can one deal with those types of defilements arising?
See, this self-defilement is deeply rooted in the mind. So you have to gradually get rid of it by getting rid of the object that the self becomes attached to. Like first you have to get rid of your attachment to your body, then your feeling, and then the mental state. See, this comes like a step you have to take before you eventually will then get rid of all the self that is being embedded in your mind. So you have to go through the satipatthana path. First you have to develop jhana. Once you have jhana, then you can teach your mind to see that the body, feelings, anicca, anatta, no self. and you can then let go of this body and feelings. Then you come into the mind. The mind has what you call emotion or mental objects, which they are also not self. Your thought, your perception, this has no self. The perception that you are a self is also just a perception, not real. So you have to sort of have to tackle them step by step, one object at a time. If you try to do all three of them at the same time, you cannot, because they.
So Tanajan, when we practice more and more, we tend to notice these defilements coming up, whether being caused or more subtle. And the natural thing to do is to use wisdom to fight this defilement, or
it depends on which kind of defilement you have. So we have different Dhamma which acts like medicine to cure the problem of the mind. Like you have stomach ache, you have to take a pill or medicine for the stomach. You cannot use the medicine for the head, for instance. So you have to use different type of medicine to get rid of your defilements, or to restrain your defilement. Let's put it that way. If you anger, you need to use metta. Would be a better form of object to get rid of your anger. Buddha said you have to forgive, because if you cannot forgive, then you will become revengeful, and you can then cause yourself into a lot of trouble when you start to demand payback. So you just have to say, let's just forgive and forget. It's already happened. So let's leave it that way. Better than trying to do something, react. It can become worse. It can cause the situation to become worse. So you can use metta if you like, if you can. If not, you can use anatta. Anatta is the best if you can. Look at everything like the weather and just let it be. You cannot force them or control them. People can be nice to you, be bad to you. And another one is you should also use to solve your problem is cut down your desire or your craving. Your craving is the cause, the main cause of your grievances, your dukkha, your anger. When you want something and you cannot get it, then you get angry. If you don't want anything, then you will never get angry. So, or you can use anicca. Sometimes when you're greedy, I want to make a lot of money, and you say, what happens if you die tomorrow? Who can guarantee you that life is permanent for you? Who can guarantee that you will live for another 50 years? Nobody can. Anything can happen tomorrow. You can die tomorrow. Who knows? So why be greedy? Why you need all these things for? Besides, they are all dukkha. Everything in this earth is dukkha. They are not sukha. They are not They are not conducive to happiness. They are conducive to suffering. Because once you have, then you have to look after them. And when you lose them, then you become sad. So it's better not to have anything.
Yes.
Just to have the basic needs for the body, that's all. Otherwise, if you want happiness, you should meditate instead. That's the best form of happiness. Purest form of happiness. No dukkha. Okay, does this answer the defilement question?
Yes.
The first and the second question, I think, also been answered. The self, you have to slowly get rid of your attachment. You attach to them because you think they belong to you. So there's a you there involved in everything. So first, the Buddha said you give to charity. So you have to let go of your attachment of your possession first, the external things, your houses, your house, your property, even your family. You have to also somehow, at least mentally, be detached, be very, be ready to accept that they don't belong to you. They are anatta. Yeah. So you have to do this thing because these are all the product of a self. A self, when you have a self, you want to have things for yourself, right? But when there's no self, then you don't need to have anything for yourself. The mind doesn't need anything to exist, to be happy. So by giving up, you're not really giving up, you're gaining. You're gaining peace and happiness, mental peace and happiness. By acquiring, by getting, you're getting dukkha. Now you have to have dukkha with your family, right? You have to worry about your children, worry about your wife. Before, when you're single, you don't have this kind of worries. So you have to try to teach your mind that nothing belongs to you because there's no you to belong to anyway in the first place. So only have just what you need. See? Live like a monk. A monk will have the requisite of living: a bowl, 3 pieces of rope, a belt, scissor, and a water strainer, and I guess not scissor but blade, to shave your head with, and thread and needle to fix your robe when it's torn. These are the possession that the Buddha allowed for monks to have. Then there's less worry, see? Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Okay.
Understand.
So as you let go of things, you will let go of yourself at the same time. When there's nothing, no possession, then there's no possessor, no possession, no possessor. When there's possession, there's possessor. Once you get rid of your attachment of the external thing, then you have to come and get rid of your attachment to your body. Your body is also not self, not yourself. Your feeling is also not yourself. Your emotion, your mental objects is also not yourself. Then you will eventually get rid of all yourself, of all the self in the mind. Then all you have left is just the knower, the pure mind, the knowing element. It's now defined by ignorance and delusion. Delusion is the view that there is a self, that the mind is a self, that this knowing element is a self. Okay. All right, we'll go to Joseph next. Hi, Joseph.
Hi, Ajahn. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Ajahn, I have 2 questions. Yeah. My first question is, if you can put a percentage to head knowledge on Dhamma and to mindfulness and meditation practice, what percentage would you give them? Percentage of importance in terms of practice?
In terms of practice, you basically know what you have to do first. And in meditate, what you need to do first is develop mindfulness. So that's all you need to know. Everything else you can forget. You don't have to worry about. Of course, that's the basic thing, like the precept. You know already the precept. You need to keep the 5 or the 8 precepts. 5 as the minimum, 8 as the more preferable. More preferable if you meditate, you want to keep the 8 precepts. But if you're still working and you're only a casual meditator, then you might keep the 5 precepts instead. But if you are more serious meditator, then you want to keep the 8 precepts. And then for meditation, first and foremost is mindfulness. Just try to develop mindfulness from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. And in between, when you have time to sit, then you sit and meditate. Until eventually you become proficient in your meditation. You can enter jhana anytime you like, anywhere, anytime. Then the next step will be then between, you divide the time 50-50 between developing wisdom and maintaining your jhana. Because your jhana can still become weakened after you come out and develop wisdom. And after you feel that your jhana has become weakened, then you want to go back and resupply your jhana again. So you can, once you get to past the first step, then you go, when you go to the development of wisdom step, then you could do it 50-50. You meditate to get jhana or equanimity. Once you have that, you come out and then you use jhana or equanimity to support your contemplation of the truth. And after a while, your equanimity will weaken. Then you want to return into jhana again to resupply your equanimity again. So this, when you get to that point, you do half and half wisdom, half jhana.
When you're talking about wisdom, is it? Are you talking about vipassana or?
Yeah, vipassana, three characteristics of existence, anicca, dukkha, anatta,
Right.
of everything that you are attached to.
Right.
Whatever you are attached to, you have to use wisdom to stop your attachment, to sever your attachment, because you have to see them as anicca, dukkha, anatta.
Right.
So you first step, you disconnect the external thing first, like your possession, your money, your wealth, your family. Once you have done that, then you can come and then sever your attachment to your body, your feeling, and then eventually to the mental state inside your mind, your emotions.
Yeah. My second question is, Ajahn, let's say when the borders are open between Thailand, Malaysia, and other countries, does your monastery accept individuals to come for meditation retreats?
Yes, we do. But you have to make arrangement first of all, and it depends on which type you want to practice, whether individual or group. Groups, you have to do it down in the temple where they have chanting session and so forth. But if you want to do individual meditation practice, then we can let you live with the monks on the mountain.
And how long is the period normally for retreats?
We group of people. They usually allow 7 days maximum for one stay of 7 days. But with individual practitioner on the mountain, we can allow at least two weeks first, and then it can also be extended depending on how the relationship works. You know. If we have good relationship, then we can extend. If we have bad relationship, then say goodbye.
Right. So then when we come for retreats, it will be taking 8 precepts, right?
Yeah, and if you live with the monk, you'll be eating once a day, and
Okay.
you go out on arms round with the monk to help the monk.
Okay. It's something like being a novice, is it?
Yeah, something like that, like a pa khao, white rober.
Okay.
Or candidate for ordination.
Okay. So the actual candidate for ordination normally, if it is not just retreat, how long will it be before a person?
With me, I require 1 year.
Okay.
1 year candidacy. You have to practice for 1 year and to be sure that you really want to become a monk.
Right. But at your monastery, people need to know Thai, right? The language.
Pardon me?
at your monastery, the knowledge of the Thai language is required?
Not really, because I have monks who speak English. You can talk to them, or you can talk to me in English.
Oh, for being a novice.
Yes, but if you want to become a monk, the abbot, he requires that you learn enough Thai to communicate with him.
Right.
But if you're not ordaining, then it's not necessary to learn Thai.
Right. So how do we apply for like coming for retreat? There's a
I have
website.
a contact email address. You can go into my website suchart.com, and there's a contact information you can.
Right.
From there.
Right. I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah.
In case.
Then I have an assistant who will reply to your question.
Okay.
I have a Singaporean monk who's been here over 10 years, 10 or 15 years now.
Okay.
So he's my assistant.
Oh, okay.
He will give you all the information that you need to know. If he's not around, somebody else will do it for him.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ajahn. Thank you.
All right. Next is Geraldine. Hi, Geraldine from Singapore. Any question from you today?
Hello, Ajahn.
Yes, go ahead. Any question?
Oh, hello, Ajahn. Okay, my question is, when we practice Satipatthana Sutta, right? There are the four: the body, the feelings, the mind, and the Dhamma. So, is it to be practiced together, or you just pick one to practice a different day?
There are 3 separate steps in the Satipatthana Sutta that you have to practice. First is developing mindfulness. And you can use the mindfulness of the body when you're moving around as the way of developing your mindfulness. And when you sit to meditate to get jhana, then you use anapanasati. So this is the first 2 steps, mindfulness and jhana first. Once you get to jhana, when you have jhana, then you want to move up the 3rd level, which is vipassana or wisdom. Then you contemplate the nature of the body as anicca, dukkha, anatta, and let go of your attachment to the body. And then you contemplate on the nature of feelings as anicca, dukkha, anatta, and then to let go of the feeling. And then you contemplate on the states of mind as being anicca, dukkha, anatta. So there are 3. On vipassana, there are three levels that you have to practice. Before you get to vipassana, you have 2 levels. You have mindfulness and jhana to practice.
Right. So meaning if a person hasn't practiced mindfulness and jhana, they don't practice feeling. They don't go on to feeling.
It's useless because you will not be able to let go. Without jhana, you won't have the strength to let go.
Okay.
Can you let go of your painful feeling, leave it alone, and not doing anything, and not being hurt by the painful feeling? If you don't have jhana, you don't have equanimity, you cannot do it. But when you have jhana, you have equanimity, then you can just leave the feeling alone. Let the painful feeling happen, but your mind will not be hurt by the painful feeling because the mind doesn't react. When the mind reacts by wanting to get rid of the painful feeling, then you're creating dukkha, the mental dukkha, which is much stronger than the physical feeling.
Yes. Okay. Then Ajahn, what you just now you said about antidote, like there's, let's say for example, anger.
Your sound keep coming on and off. I cannot get what you say.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So the antidote for anger is metta, and then the antidote for
anatta.
greediness
You can
is
use anatta also. you can use anatta. So looking at the person that you're angry as a weather, like the rain. You don't get angry at the rain, right?
Right. My question is, what is the antidote for restlessness?
Restlessness, mindfulness. You have to recite a mantra to stop.
So
Or
if there's
you know,
restlessness, then we recite a mantra.
that's right. Or chanting.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Because I have a lot of restlessness, so I need to keep chanting.
Keep reciting Buddha, and you'll find that restlessness will go away. You're just lazy. You don't want to recite the Buddha. You want to think about this and that thing. That's what makes you restless.
Yeah, the mind doesn't like, the mind keeps wanting to play. Yeah. Okay,
Your defilement wants to think about this and that. Yeah. It doesn't like Buddha. It doesn't like the mantra. So you have to force it to take the bitter medicine. The mantra is like a bitter medicine for the mind, for the defilement, which the defilement doesn't like.
Okay, I will notice when there's restlessness, I will say Buddha. Okay. Thank you,
But you have
Ajahn.
to do it before you become restless. Because once you're restless, you will not be able to use Buddha anyway. So you have to
do it before restless.
You have to practice Buddha before you get restless. Then when you get restless, then you can use Buddha. It's like running. Before you enter the race, you have to practice running first before you can go and race. You don't just enter the race without any practice.
Okay, so my restlessness is like, for example, I'm working, right? I'm working, and then the mind is bored, and then the mind wants to look at the phone, for example. So when I know that the mind wants to look at the phone, then do I then chant Buddha?
Yes, if you want to stop it from doing what you don't want it to do, then you can use Buddha to stop it.
And
But what I'm saying, if you haven't practiced Buddha before, you won't be able to use it when the time comes, when you want to use it.
I see. Okay.
So you have to practice it now when you're not restless. Just keep reciting Buddha as part of your regimen, So when the time comes to use Buddha, then you can use it.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. All right.
You.
Next is Forrest Tong. Hi, Forrest, from Massachusetts. How are you?
John, I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing a silent retreat right now. I have a question about entering samadhi. So I'm trying to use the breath and stay with the breath. And then sometimes there's a lot of feeling of pleasure, but then sometimes the pleasure will stop increasing and just stay the same or start to decrease again. So then I start having some doubts about whether I'm doing something wrong or I should change something. So I just wanted to confirm, should I just continue staying at the same place?
Yes, continue focus on your breath. If you use your breath as your meditation object and disregard everything that comes up. They come and go. They are all anicca.
Okay.
What you want to get to is emptiness. When you enter jhana, you find there's only emptiness and a feeling of peace in yourself, in your mind. So anything before that, just ignore them. Don't feel that you do anything wrong. It's just part of the process. Some people have, some people don't have. Some people can go directly into jhana. Some people might have some of this feeling rising and ceasing before they enter into jhana.
Okay.
But the point is not to be distracted from your meditation object.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm trying to make it more complicated and it's more simple than I'm thinking.
Don't try to analyze anything when you meditate. Stop analyzing. Because you're thinking. The goal is to stop thinking, stop analyzing, stop everything.
Okay.
By focusing on your breath.
My second question is that I'm trying to also, as you're saying, be mindful in every activity. So like mindful when I'm eating, but I find that still when I'm eating, there's a lot of tension and I feel kind of hurried. So any suggestions about that?
You feel tension from focusing on your eating?
Tension when I'm the muscles of eating itself.
What happened? Don't you eat normally?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just that I'm eating fast. I'm trying to slow myself down, but I still feel like the chewing is like a lot of tension.
Oh, doesn't matter how fast or slow you eat, as long as you can catch up with, your mind can catch up with it, it's okay.
Okay.
You don't have to force yourself to eat slowly one bite at a time. No, this is not the case of practice. The practice just to be normal, do normal thing and then just be watchful of what you do. That's all. The goal is to not let your mind go think about other things while you eat, for instance. You might be eating, then you start thinking about the work that you're going to have to do later on. This is not mindful. If you want to be mindful, you only focus on your eating and not thinking about other things.
Okay, I see.
So you don't have to force your action. Your action can be fast or slow, it doesn't matter. What you want is to pull your mind in the present, keep it right here and now and not let it go anywhere. So you use the body action as the anchor to anchor your mind, to prevent it from wandering to other thoughts, to other things.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Is that all for you today? For now?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Thank you.
Hi, Gek Yenso from Penang. How are you? Any question today?
Ajahn, I'm good, thank you. I do not have any question today, Ajahn.
Okay. Let me go to Lisa Wu. Hi, Lisa. Where are you from? Singapore or Malaysia?
Hi, good evening, Ajahn. Supi Hontu. I'm from Singapore.
Can I help you?
Yes, many times I missed your Zoom session. Today I got a chance to be online with you. I want to ask is during meditation, when I don't know which level, whether it's in jhana, I don't know what, but there is a period that is very quiet and very peaceful in samadhi. Because you keep mentioning about happiness, what kind of happiness that we're supposed to feel? I mean, it's very peaceful, quiet. The mind is very quiet, but does that equals to happiness?
In a way, when you're peaceful, you should be happy, right?
But the feeling is neutral, like there's no happy or, it's very flat, it's quiet. You don't have the feeling of like happiness or like agitated, it's just quiet. Is that the right practice?
Yes, more or less. If you're quiet and peaceful, maybe you haven't get it fully yet. Maybe you're just getting it partially. So you don't still feel the full effect of this peace and quiet.
Okay, so doesn't matter whether I know whether I'm in the first or second or third jhana, it doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter. Just focus on your breath or on your meditation object.
Okay. My second question is, because when we practice mindfulness, you have been telling us that to keep the mind with the body, that means to know what we are doing all day long, to have the mindfulness. But on the other hand, we want to practice to separate the mind and the body. This part here, I'm a bit confused. Can Ajahn please explain to me when we do mindfulness and when we want to separate the mind and body, how does this what does this mean? I don't quite get it.
Okay. See, there are two separate practices. When you practice concentration, you want to keep the mind with the body. You want to stop the mind from wandering around so it can become concentrated. So it can have jhana and peace and happiness.
Okay.
This is samadhi level
Mhm.
or samatha bhavana. Yeah. Once you have this, then the next step is to teach your mind the truth about the body and the mind as being separated, not as being two separate entities. The mind is a mental entity and the body is a physical entity. This is knowledge. This is by teaching. Separation by teaching. Teaching your mind to know that the mind is not the body. Right now, see, the delusion keeps telling the mind that the body and the mind is one and the same thing. So then you want to teach the mind that this is not the case. The case is the mind is the knower, the thinker, while the body is just the material part, the physical part that doesn't know or think. It only takes command from the mind. The mind is the boss and the body is the servant. And the body will eventually have to get old, get sick, and die. So the mind doesn't have to be afraid because the mind doesn't get old, get sick, and die with the body. This is how we separate the mind from the body by teaching.
So I have one experience that I had a very bad food poisoning, and I thought that I couldn't make it. That on the way to the hospital, I thought I couldn't make it. But during that 45 minutes of the journey, I could watch the pain, and my mind is quiet. Does it mean that I have upeka?
Yes, if your mind is not affected by the body's pain, then you have upeka.
Okay, so that is to say that during that 45 minutes, during the journey, I could see the pain that, okay, it's pain. The pain is there because the food poisoning. But the mind is understanding that there is a pain. So this is it called panya?
Yes, it's called wisdom to let go of the pain of the body, to let go of the body. And the mind just remains calm and watchful, that's all. Just knowing. The goal is to teach the mind just to be merely knowing of things that are happening. And don't try to react to them, either negatively or positively, because it will hurt the mind either way. And you don't want to hurt your mind, so you just remain in the middle, neutral, not reacting.
But this upeka state, it doesn't stay constant there, right? Because it's anicca. So there will be time that the equanimity will drop down. Sometimes it can stay.
That's right.
Is it normal, even though if a seasoned meditator, is it normal?
Yes, Ubeka is still anicca, dukkha, anatta. So mindfulness, it depends on your mindfulness. If you have mindfulness, you have ubeka. If you don't have mindfulness, then you can lose your ubeka.
Okay. And Ajahn, can you explain why this word Buddha is so magical?
Well, Buddha, because it's the name of the Buddha. And most Buddhists respect the Buddha more than anything. And sometimes they have this strong attraction to the Buddha. So when they think of the Buddha, it calms their mind down. But you can use other mantra. You can use anicca, anatta, dukkha. Any other mantra is also death. So anicca is death. You can contemplate on death.
Buddha is fine for me to chant and to chant this mantra. But I find it very magical is that when you start chanting for about maybe 8 or 10 times, the state of mind transfer to another state, like you have chosen to forgotten what was troubling you before.
That's right. It calms your mind down.
Yeah.
You forget about what happened.
And when this thing happens, it's like you choose to forget, or it's because of the word Buddha, or what was it that helps the mind to overcome this? Is this a normal process of
This is switching the mind from one channel to the next, like your remote control on your television set. When you're watching this channel, it makes you sad, you switch to another channel, see? And then your emotion will change accordingly.
Okay, but is it true that when this thing happened, when you switch the channel, that feeling of that unpleasantness will never visit you again.
No, because eventually sometimes you switch back to the old channel again. See?
Oh.
When you lose mindfulness, if you maintain mindfulness, then you can prevent it from going back to the channel that caused you dukkha.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why mindfulness is very important. Mindfulness is like a remote that can switch your mind from into different channel.
Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
All right.
I will continue to listen. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let me go to Monica Chen. Hi, Monica, and your daughter. How are you? Any question today?
Good evening, Tan Ajahn. Tan Ajahn, actually, I was doing this sitting meditation. So I suppose, and I was doing the concentrating on the Buddha, then after that on the breath. So it went on for a while, but then later on I become aware of the body and I realized there's this piercing pain on the inside of the thigh. And I thought probably I can start to contemplate anicca. But I found that the mind is resisting. Is it, but then after that, I went back to Buddha to sort of like calm down. Is it too early to do contemplation at this moment?
When you meditate, you want to concentrate and become calm.
Okay.
So you don't want to contemplate. You do it later on after you master your concentration first, until you can always stop your mind, bring your mind to calm and peace anytime you like. Then when you come out of this meditation, then you can start contemplating. Contemplating is teaching your mind the truth of the things that your mind is being attached to, like your body, your feelings, and the mental states of the mind. That they are anicca, dukkha, anatta, that you should not be attached to them. You should leave them alone. They are like natural phenomena, like the weather. You cannot always control them. When you cannot control them, you can become sad when you wanted to control them. If you don't want to be sad, then you just have to accept them for what they are.
So that means I should just keep on sitting as long as I can to sort of come to a very, that means the mind is very concentrated and very calm. There is
That's
no
right.
Struggling, right,
That's
between
right.
the kilesa and the mind, right?
That's right. Until the kilesa stop resisting, then your mind become peaceful and relief. No tension. If the defilement still active, you feel this tension in your mind when you meditate.
Okay.
So you just keep on focusing or concentrating on your meditation object. Eventually, the resistance of the defilement will disappear. Then you feel a sense of relief and peace and happiness.
So it means that I should try to keep on meditating as long to achieve, to keep on. If there's tension, I have to keep on meditating on the
Yes, just ignore the tension. It's part of the struggle. Like when you're boxing in the ring, you're gonna have to be hit, but you have to keep fighting until you beat your opponent. Once you can beat your opponent, then you know that nothing will hurt you anymore.
Okay, so that means if I can keep on even sitting for 3 hours, 4 hours, if I can, then I should keep on, is it?
That's right. That's right. Do as much as possible until your mind have no resistance. Your mind feel peaceful and calm, and then you can just remain in that state until to the time when you want to withdraw from the state. When you want to maybe get up and walk or do something else, you can do that. Or if you still prefer to sit for another session, you can continue on if you like also.
Okay, so I should reach until the state when I'm very, there's no tension, then only I can do contemplation, is it?
Not yet, only after you come out of that state first.
Okay.
When you're in that state, you want to remain in there for as long as possible, because it's it's so calm, peaceful, and nice to be. It's like being in an air-conditioned room. So you don't want to get out. It's only when you eventually your mindfulness become weakened and your defilement becomes stronger, then you feel that you're being pushed outside. Then you might have to come out of your meditation, and then you can start contemplating if you like after that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Ajahn.
Anything from your daughter? No question from her?
Yeah, not yet, Ajahn. I still have to meditate more, put more hours into practice.
Okay, fine. Then we go to John then. Hi, John from Sydney. How are you?
I'm good, Ajahn. How are you?
Good. Any question from you today?
No questions, just listening, Ajahn. Thank you.
Just listening. All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, Soling. Hi, Soling. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Ajahn. I'm
Any
listening.
questions?
No, just listening in. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Bodhihin. Bodhihin, can you hear me? I think your image is frozen. I'm not sure whether you're listening or not. No reply.
No signal, I think.
Okay. We'll go to Gok Seng. Hi, Gok Seng. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good evening, Ajahn. Yeah,
Where are you from? Singapore?
Yes, I'm from Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah, Ajahn, I have a question. This morning when I was, each time when I meditate, I would try to tell myself meditate for an hour, and I find that for today.
Can you speak a bit louder?
Yeah. Okay. Each time when I meditate, I try to meditate. I tell myself I try to sit for an hour, and whenever and I for my mindfulness of the breath. So after I sit down, so I will just watch my breath. Normally I will just count my breath from 1 to 10. After that 1 to 10, and then when my mind drift away, then when I become mindful, I say okay, back to the breath, back to the breath. But this morning when I do that, then it comes to a point where I just cannot bring my mind drift until such that I can't bring my mindfulness back to the breath. Then I have no choice but just to open my eyes. And I didn't reach 1 hour, is about 45 minutes. So any advice, how should I progress from here? Yeah. Thank you, Ajahn.
If you want to bring back your mindfulness, you can either use a mantra like reciting Bhutto, 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 or do some chanting. Then you can bring back your mindfulness. And after chanting for a while or reciting Bhutto for a while, you might be able to concentrate on your breath again. Or if you like to get up and walk, you can walk and concentrate on your walking, reciting a mantra until you feel you have enough mindfulness, then you can go back and sit again.
So it's all right. Let's say 45 minutes, and then I find that I can't bring my mind back, my mindfulness back to the breath. I can just walk up from my sitting postures and just take a walk, and after that go back to the sitting posture again.
Yes, because your mindfulness is not the same each time you sit. And sometimes you have strong mindfulness, sometimes you have weak mindfulness. So the duration of your sitting might be different from time to time. So don't worry about this. This is just part of the learning process. It's like learning how to walk when you might be able to get up and walk for a few steps, then you fall down, and then you get up and walk some more. And eventually you'll be able to sit longer and longer. But the point is not so much the time. The point is the result from sitting. You can sit 5 minutes and your mind becomes calm, then that's better. And then you can sit for however long the calm remains. Rather than sit for a long time and keep struggling with your mind. you're not getting much out of your practice. So not the duration itself alone should be the determinant. What should be the determinant is the result of your practice. During this meditation, are you mind calm or not calm? More than thinking about the length of time that you sit. But normally, if your mind becomes calm, then you can sit longer. If your mind is not calm, then you'll find it difficult to sit for a long time. And this depends on the strength of your mindfulness. So sometimes you might have to develop more mindfulness before you sit. Like maybe walk for a while first to raise up the level of your mindfulness. Then you can come and sit, and then you might be able to get calm really quickly and sit for a long time also. Okay?
Yeah, thank you, Ajahn.
All right. Let me go to Katrina. Katrina, how are you? Haven't seen you a while. Are you okay?
Hi, John. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
From Noosa,
Yeah.
Australia. Okay. Any question today?
Yeah, my grandma is dying, and I probably can't go to the funeral because interstate. So just wondering if there's anything that I can do to sort of pay respects or yeah, anything that I can do, or not really.
Well, I'm not sure what can you do when you are so far apart. You just have to with Buddhist tradition, we give some money to charity and then dedicate the merit for her. You can do that for her. If you want to do something for the departed, if she's still alive, then you can send money or help with her care, her medical costs or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks, Ajahn.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. We'll go to Belinda. Hi, from Singapore. Cannot hear you. Somehow your voice doesn't come through.
Hello, Ajahn. Can you hear me?
Yes. You have to speak louder though. Put the microphone near your mouth. Okay.
No question today.
No question. Okay.
So just perhaps last week after spoken with Ajahn, I contemplated what Ajahn advised about the motivation in keeping 8 precepts.
Yes.
And when my father was hospitalized, I started the 8 precepts. It's for about 109 days for him. It was done during when he was hospitalized until his passing. And he did the funeral through the Mahayana tradition, where they do vegetarian like 49 days. So I followed the tradition, but just on top of it, I did the 8 precepts for him. So I contemplated what Ajahn said. But after the 109 days, I realized there was an after effect where there was very intense sadness that came up from the mind after I stopped doing the 8 precepts. So then I contemplated what Ajahn said last week, and I realized the intense sadness came up also because of attachment. So the motivation to keep 8 precepts for the father is also driven underlying attachment, a strong attachment, apart from gratitude or repaying philia, but the underlying cause of suffering is still attachment. I'm not sure if I have contemplated correctly. And I hope Ajahn can comment or teach about attachment or how we detach.
You have to understand that the body isn't your father. You know, your father is the mind behind the body, and so nothing happens to your father. I mean, your father didn't die with the body. He just had to go look for a new body. His body is like an automobile that broke down and can no longer drive it. So he has to go look for another car, That's true, you know, it's not funny.
No, it is indeed because my father always described his body as a car, and he was always very proud to say that he has a good engine. He described himself as a car, and he has a nickname. I gave him a nickname Toyota because his favorite car is Toyota. So actually, he has a nickname.
So
There is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the mind is aware that the body has gone to different form. Yes, and the whole process he did came back as a snake. He turned into a snake, and my mother killed that snake. So because the short lived, so he could move on to another body, to another car. But having said that, there is still longing. There's a feeling of missing that just came out from the mind. So a Dhamma friend also reminded us it's anatta. Some things just came up from the mind, and it's to deepen the practice to watch the emotion as is and accept it as is. There were moments where the mind wanted to grieve quickly and to put the bereavement behind as fast as possible and to come up. But the more the desire to want to heal or to come out from the bereavement, the greater the mind would stuck behind of not wanting to feel bereavement, not wanting to feel the sadness. So maybe because on the 100 days after his passing, I don't really feel sadness. It was after I stopped 8 precepts, there's emotions that just came up in form of the dreams and all. Yeah, so despite knowing that he has moved on, he had moved on to another body, but there is the mind on and off would remember him. So then I read about psychology. It probably would take about 2 years to put down. So I'm still working on.
Sometimes just a few months and you'll forget and you will move on also.
So right now the mind keep a lot of happy memories. This Christmas is coming. Then I remember having to create. He played a center role. He was happy. So the mind now just keep like happy memories. I'm not too sure if it's how to best but having good memory and all is also like a form of attachment. It's still having the past memories.
The best is to forget about it. It's already gone. The past is already gone. You should concentrate on the present and try to maintain emptiness in your mind, because that's what's best for your mind, really. If you keep going back thinking, sometimes you might run into bad memories, and then you can become sad again. So it's better to stop your mind from going into the past. Just try to keep it in the present by reciting a mantra. When you start to go back to the past, then you just recite Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. Then your memory will then stop. You see.
So whether it's a happy memory or not, if it's even a happy, try not to indulge in it.
If you don't control your happy memory, when it becomes sad, you cannot control it either. So you have to control your memory, either good or bad. Or until you're not affected by the good or bad memories, then you can use it. You can let it be. But when you have good or bad memories and you are affected by it, then you should not let it go to the past. But after your mind can become not affected, when you think about the past, then you can think anything you want if you have to. But this is really indulging yourself in delusion, because memory, past is already gone. You're just playing with your thoughts, that's all. And it doesn't move you forward. The way to move forward is to forget about the past and concentrate on the present. Because this is where you can control your mind with. If you can keep the mind in the present, then you can control your mind. Stop it from running into the past or into the future.
Ajahn, the mind, not sure if I'm doing it right. The mind is a bit, the mind is weak. So to come back to the present, I sometimes have to step up from the house and to go to places where the park, where I can see the sky, the lake, like get in touch with nature, to be surrounded by the nature, so that the mind, it is easier for the mind to watch the sky, and that is easier to like come back to the body. So by making use of nature, the environment, and then it was easier for the mind to come back to the body. Is that right to cope sometimes when the mind is very weak? Like having to recite Buddha, so the mind resists. But coming back to the park and open nature and just rest the mind on the openly without needing to focus something. Just watching the nature helps to bring it back to the present. I'm not too sure if by doing so is actually a way of coping, or if it's the right meditation to keep the mind relaxed in an open space.
It's a form of escape, really. When you have to rely on something to make you happy, you should rely on yourself, your mind itself, to make your mind happy. And what can make your mind happy is to make it calm and peaceful by using mindfulness. So this is the real deal, is to use mindfulness. Using other thing is just it's a form of escape. And sometimes you might not be able to use them either. Sometimes you cannot go out to the park, then you'll feel worse.
Like if you're in a prison.
That's right. But if you have mindfulness and your mind become peaceful, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter whether you're in a house or anywhere in a prison, you can still be happy. So better to rely on mindfulness rather than other things. But if you cannot, then I guess you would have to then, on a temporary measure, you can maybe rely on other things for now, because you're weak and you cannot develop enough mindfulness. But just to be sure that you know that this is not the way to deal with your emotion, your mental issue. The way to deal with your mental issue is to calm your mind with mindfulness. That's the only way.
Yeah, I realized that the park and where I live, the condition may change as well. Where I feel that even the park may go under renovation, or I may have to move to somewhere else where the condition will not allow me to have the option sometimes. So then it still goes back to the heart or the mind. It still goes back to the chitta at some point. Yeah, and having that awareness that this is a temporary relief. Like seeing Ajahn is also like temporary relief. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Let me go to Shweta. Hi, Shweta, from London. Right?
Hello, no, Ajahn, I'm from Illinois.
Illinois, I'm sorry. Forget.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any question today?
Yes, Ajahn. So while I do a Vipassana meditation, I follow the instruction where I scan through the body sensation from head to toe. So I follow instruction and then contemplate on the anicca nature of it. So when my mindfulness is strong, it happens sometimes only. So when my mindfulness is strong, my mind is like still, like I experience a calmness in my mind. And at that point, my mind does not want to scan the body sensation and observe the anicca nature of it. So should I just stay with the stillness of mind, or keep doing keep observing the body sensation?
No, you stay with the calm. Once your mind becomes calm, then you don't have to scan. The goal is to keep your mind calm, peaceful, and in equanimity, not reacting to anything.
And then just see what it comes, like body sensations or the feeling or the mind, like observe that.
Anicca, they come and go, and they
Yeah.
change from good to bad. The problem is, can you remain calm when you start to experience the painful feelings? If you are just scanning the normal feeling, doesn't do anything too much for your mind. It's only the painful feeling that's when you really have to scan and to deal with. Yeah. When you're sick, when you have fever, for instance, can you still remain calm and peaceful? That's the goal. See? So, but if you have just normal feeling right now sitting and there's no painful feeling, the scanning is more like using it as a meditation object, not vipassana object. With vipassana object, you have to deal with the object that causing you dukkha, like painful feeling. And then you really need to have strong mindfulness to stop your mind from reacting to the painful feeling and to keep your mind in equanimity. Okay.
Yes, sir. And my second question is, it's similar to Joseph's second question, that visiting you in Thailand. So is are females allowed to stay at your monastery as well and do a retreat, like for a week?
For female, for ladies, you have to stay in the temple below, in the temple where they have a dormitory type of accommodation, and you have to attend the morning and evening chanting. Like Katrina, I think she spent about 5 days, right? Yeah, and she came with her son, and 6 days, 7 days, and in the afternoon she goes up to the mountain to listen to my Dhamma talk. But in the evening and in the morning, she has to attend the morning and evening chanting.
So the temple that you live in, or where can we stay?
Yes, the temple is divided into 2 sections: the mountain part and the temple part. The temple is usually for more beginners, people when they still don't know how to meditate and they have to do practice in groups, like they have to attain morning and evening chanting and sitting meditation sitting. But for those who are more advanced, who can practice on their own, then they would look for this temple. You have to be a male to go up to the mountain and practice with the monks. But for ladies, we don't have that kind of accommodation for the ladies. The ladies would have to stay in a group with other people, other ladies. So you might have to go to some other temple. I think Ajahn Tan has I'm not sure if you have heard of him, Ajahn Tan. He also have a place where he let the woman stay for 1 month, I think, alone in her own accommodation and practice on her own.
Okay.
But we don't have here for the ladies. We only have for the men.
Yeah. Yeah, we can just stay somewhere and then visit you, right? Like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before this COVID-19, I gave talks every afternoon at 2 p.m. But now I have reduced the time of giving talks to just about 3 days a week, on the weekend and on the Buddhist Observance Day. So there's only 3 days that you can see me in the afternoon. Or listen to my Dhamma talk. Or you can have a brief talk in the morning when I eat in the dining hall. After I finish eating, you can come and maybe talk and ask questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn. That's all I have.
Ka Phai Lim, Ka Phai Lim, do you want to ask any question?
Today to you, Ajahn. Not today. I'm gonna skip any question. Not don't have any questions for today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me say hello to Dean. Hi, Dean. From
Hi,
Singapore.
Ajahn. Yes, from Singapore. I don't have a question. Just practicing. Not easy.
Okay. Just keep on practicing. Mindfulness is the most important goal. The first goal is to have mindfulness. And the next goal is to have wisdom, samadhi, jhana, and then wisdom.
Yes, Ajahn. Thank you.
All right. Let me say hello to Jacob. Hi, Jacob from Las Vegas, if I remember correctly. You have to unmute you.
Good, very good. Thank you, Ajahn, for remembering me.
Okay.
I have a question because I have never had an opportunity to ask this before. When I meditate, I find that there is something that is called the breath, and so the breath of life. So I understand in other cultures for that to mean spirit. And then when I've read the suttas, the little bit that I've read them, I've seen Buddha say, no, there's a God, yes, there's a God, and maybe there's a God. And I've heard him say that we don't really focus on God because God makes people suffer because of their attachment to God. But I've never actually read in any of the suttas where he said there wasn't a God. Could you comment on that or tell me what you know about that?
Well, see, in Buddhism, we all are spiritual beings, and we are attached to this physical body temporarily for maybe 80 years or 90 years. Then we'll be separated from this body again. So we'll become another spiritual being. See? And spiritual beings, by some culture, is interpreted to be God. See? Something that they cannot see. That's all. So in Christian culture, they interpreted the spiritual being, this God, as being the creator of the universe, of the.
Yeah, Brahma.
According to Buddhism, the universe is scientific more than spiritual. The universe is a product of the physical element, like the four, the earth, water, wind, and fire interacting with each other, creating earth, creating planets, creating the sun, and so forth. So that, according to Buddhist belief, we don't believe there's a God creator. But we have spiritual beings that are higher or lower. See, with higher being we call them God or angels. With lower we call them devil and so forth.
Right.
Yeah. So this is more or less how we look at the spiritual beings as being either high or low. They are high because they do good karma. They are kind. They are compassionate. They are nice, then they become high spiritual beings. And if they are mean, they're cruel, they're hurting other people, then they become lower type of spiritual beings.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Thank
Is
you
that
very
all?
much. Yes, sir. For this week. I'll see you next week, I hope.
Yeah, but our problem is not with the spiritual being. Our problem is with ourselves.
Yes.
Right now, we're not always happy. See, our problem is sometimes we can become sad, become unhappy. So what we want to do in Buddhist practice is to get rid of this sadness and unhappiness forever. And the Buddha discovered a way of getting rid of all this sadness and unhappiness by the practice of meditation and the development of wisdom, understanding the cause of sadness and unhappiness.
Yes. That's why I'm drawn to Buddha. And because it's practical and it's something that's proven. It's proved itself to me. Yet I just didn't know what to do with this. When I go into deep meditation, I can sense that spirit. So I just didn't know what to think of that.
Yeah, your spiritual self. When you meditate, you'll come to your spiritual self.
Okay.
You're pulling your spiritual away from your physical self when you meditate. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I guess who's next? Rachel Lim. Hi, Rachel.
Good evening, Ajahn.
How are you? You're from Singapore or Malaysia?
Yes, Singapore.
Okay.
Good to see you again.
Any question today?
Ajahn, you mentioned the importance of jhana. So can you explain what is jhana? Because for me, I meditate, I feel happy, peaceful. Sometimes I feel coolness around the heart area, and I enjoy meditation, but I think it's very far away from jhana. So in what way can we work towards jhana? Is it by only a person that give up everything can attain jhana, and lay people which still have attachment may not be able to attain jhana easily? Can Ajahn advise? Thank you.
Yes, well, each individual have different capacity to enter to jhana due to past life, how much we have developed mindfulness. For some people, they can enter jhana even while they were a lay person. For some others, they have to become a monk in order to be able to have enough time to develop mindfulness to get them into jhana. So there's no fixed formula whether you have to be a lay person or a monk to enter to jhana. It depends on the amount of mindfulness you have developed. So the more mindfulness you have, then the easier for you to enter into jhana. And if you find it still difficult to enter jhana, it means you don't have enough mindfulness yet. Then you just have to try to develop more mindfulness in this lifetime. And you should do it to the maximum you can. Like from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to sleep, you must always be focused on something. Don't let your mind wandering around. Focus your mind on a mantra, focus your mind on your body action, your body movement. Then you are developing mindfulness that way. And if you can then, when you sit and meditate, you'll find it easier to become calm and peaceful. Maybe not full jhana yet, maybe 50% jhana, 40%, but you will gradually develop more and more, and eventually you will get full jhana eventually.
Ajahn, when you say full jhana, is it the fourth jhana?
Yes, the fourth jhana. When you have equanimity and your mind become completely separated from the body.
So does do more dana, more sila helps as well?
Not necessarily, sometimes it can be a distraction, because once you want to develop jhana, you want to stop dealing with dana, temporarily suspend your dana practice, but you still need the 8 precepts to prevent your mind from going to do activities that you will distract your mind away from jhana. So you need to keep at least the 8 precepts, and then try to live in seclusion, live alone, be alone and not be distracted by other people or things. Then you can concentrate more and it will be easier for you to enter into jhana that way.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Okay. Is that all for you, Rachel, for now?
Yes, thank you,
Okay.
Ajahn.
Let me say hello to Alexandra. Hi, where are you from? Please unmute your microphone first.
Push the button.
Sorry, thank you very much. I was born in Brazil, and I studied here in Holland, Art Academy, and I have to come back because some problem with the diploma. And what I find out was fantastic, because here in Holland I can only meditate. Thank you very much.
Okay.
For the lessons.
Any question from you today?
Yes. Well, since I get the conditions to do it all alone, I mean, yes, all what you need to get concentration, no disturbance. And I have a question, like if to live from a pension, it's fulfill the Samajiva, correct way of living.
Again, please.
If I live from my pension, in 5 years I got pension.
Yes.
I'm 62, so I will be 67.
Yes.
So in 5 years I will got my pension. So if I need to go on with my meditations, then it's a right way of living out of pension.
Yes, because it's your money. You're supporting yourself. It's okay.
Okay, so then I fulfill with you as a real noble disciple as a guide. Then I have all conditions to get the fruits. I already got 2 weeks ago. I got 2 jhanas, and I find after I was thinking you can really focus in whatever you want. You don't want to think, you cannot think. So even when I was on the streets, I could do that. And I look how I get there, and was the first time was like a mental out from the focus of breathing, but I could feel the breathing, but it was way and it was more inside, more intense. But then I was like fishing, I almost sleep, and it goes away. And second time was the day after. Then I feel something from down, like a kundalini. I don't know. A friend of me said, I think it's like a kundalini awakening. And also it blow up for 15 seconds. Then the darkness was sparking with little lights, and then it was gone.
Okay.
Is that correct feeling?
Well, things have come and go. Just consider it to be anicca. They can come and they can go away, and then just forget about them, and then concentrate on what you do now. Forget about the past. Forget about what had happened, and try to empty your mind. You're in the present, to stop your mind from thinking and wandering around.
Okay. Yeah, that is we need really no contact with nobody. True, I love many people and I want to help them and I could succeed, but I see that's a distraction, because I already introduced some to Buddhism, and others they are paying attention that I change a lot, like not from wine to water, because I was artist, so it's from wine to water. So they notice it. They say it's another person. So I think that's far enough, but yes, it hurts them, that they, but it's not enough my business. I get this, so I'm almost completely free to, because I get those jhanas because I was really like 1 week, really on concentration, or walking, whatever, any position, concentration, and that's the fruit we working for. So it's yeah, my heart I have to forget also about this kind of love. I know that. So, but the only thing I need to praise is that after long years searching, I find a very good teacher. Thank you very much, Ajahn Suchart. I feel blessed that I met you from my soul. And one last thing I want to say, when I was 4 years old, I was staring to nowhere. My mother said to me, 4 to 5, my mother said to me, Alex, she was impressed. Why are you staring for? Without look at her, I said, I should never been born. And then she reminded me that when I was 35 years, she was still impressed. And since then, my life is long history to tell you. I lived like a Buddhist all my life. I just realized it when I started to study the suttas and Buddhism 8 years ago. That's all what I would like you to know about me. Thank you.
Okay, very nice to hear from you. I hope you find peace and happiness from your practice. And if you have any question, you can always come in and meet us once a week. We have this meeting about once a week, every Tuesday, like today, except on some other day when I have some other engagement, then I might have to move it around a little bit.
Yeah, like yesterday, I was awake to try to find you, but I remember. Later, I remember you have to go. You have another job to do, and then yeah. So, but I'm not really concentrated this week because I had so many problems. But I will come back. I'll be back. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's nice talking to you.
Thank you. It was well for me. Thank you very much. Very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me say hello to Jessica. Hi, Jessica. You're next. Unmute your microphone.
Hello, Ajahn. How are you?
Good. And you?
Hey, I'm very good, but a bit tired. A lot tired, actually. Well, I've been noticing a couple of things changing in my life as well as new tests came in. For example, I was listening to the conversation you had with another person about you should empty your mind. You should not think about the present. You should not think about the past or the future. You should be in the present, empty your mind. And I've noticed that I have not thought about the past or the future so much until just yesterday when I had a dinner with one of my very close friends, and they are actually getting married. And it was a couple of friends, and they were sharing their stories about marriage, about having kids, about building a home, and the average routine, the normal routine. And I didn't have any feelings or anything. It was not because I'm not happy for them, but it was empty. Ajahn, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the truth. Life is empty. Everything that people do is empty.
I felt. I was thinking, am I not very?
Everything is anicca. Whatever you do, eventually it will be gone.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. Like at the end, you know, everything that you make, all your body will degrade, and nothing stays permanent. But at the same time, I thought about it because it was testing me how I would feel. Why are you not married? I asked myself this, and so what?
That's because you have found an alternative way to be happy.
Yes.
You don't need to be married to be happy.
Yes. I thought about that as well.
You can be happy by meditating. Once you can be happy by meditating, then you don't need anything to make you happy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everything is temporary except meditation, which is more permanent.
Yes, exactly. So I think it was to test me, but actually I had no feelings or anything. I'm happy for them, but for me, I'm happy just the way I am. So.
You should be sad for them because you can see the suffering that they will have to endure.
It's not yet their time. It's not yet their time. Yes, but every time when I do meditation, I always, send my merits that I've made, boon to everybody, to all my friends, to all living things, and loving kindness as well. But for me, I don't think about that. No, but sometimes it does test me, so it's good to have those type of tests come in once in a while.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Any question today? No.
No. I'm just happy to be here because I just came home not long ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're working today?
Yes, and helping out at the meditation teaching. Just going help a class. That's all.
Okay.
So yes, I'm happy to be here. Just happy. Thank you.
All right. Nice talking to you.
Yes, Ajahn. Thank you.
Okay. Let me say hello to Lim Kim Heng. Where are you from?
Ajahn, I'm from Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur.
Yes, yes.
I look like I've seen you before. Did you come to Thailand before?
No,
No.
never.
Okay.
Only this is the second time I joined this live. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any question?
Only one question, Ajahn. You know that when people want to attain Sotapanna, they have to get rid of the three fetters. So one of them is the Sakaya Ditti,
which is
the
the
non-self. Yeah.
no
So
self.
yeah, out of the three, I find that the first one is very tough. How should one go about to reduce that non-self?
Well, you need to meditate. When you meditate and when your mind becomes calm, then the self will disappear temporarily.
I see.
Otherwise, you cannot reduce it because when your mind is active, your mind is constantly keep thinking about yourself.
So
and do
meditate
everything for yourself. So you have to meditate to calm the mind. Then the mind will be separated from the body. Then you'll be able to see that the body and the mind are two separate entities.
So this includes attaining the fourth jhana, up to the fourth jhana.
That's right. And that's why you need the fourth jhana. Once you have the fourth jhana, then you can see the mind and the body are two separate entities. And then when you come out of your jhana, then you can then keep teaching your mind that the body is not you, you are the mind. And then you have to let go of the body. And it's not going to hurt you. Whatever happens to the body is not going to hurt you. What hurts you is your attachment to the body. See? So once you get rid of the attachment to the body, then whatever happens to the body will not hurt you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Let me say hello to Leonard. Say hi, Leonard. Leonard.
Hello, Ajahn.
Where are you from?
Singapore.
Singapore. Okay.
Yes. I have no question today, Ajahn. Just
right.
enjoying listening to what people are raising and the way you answer them, and it's profound enough for me to learn from these people and everybody else.
All right. Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you, Ajahn. Thank you.
Okay. Pimpida, you want to ask or not? Pimpida.
กราบนมัสการค่ะท่านอาจารย์
Yes, you want to ask anything?
Yeah, just may I ask, sometimes I feel that there's a thin line between the determination to practice and the desire to make good progress. And I think the latter, the desire to make good progress, slow me down. How do you deal with the desire, please?
Well, just tell yourself that the result comes from your practice. So you should target the practice as your target. Just keep practicing and then the good result will come by your practice. But don't expect it to come suddenly or all the time. Because sometimes we fumble, sometimes we do it wrong. And so So don't expect the result, then you will not be frustrated. If you expect the result, then when you don't get the result, then you can become frustrated. Just concentrate on your practice. Just keep increasing the amount you practice and fine-tune your practice to make it correct. When you first starting practicing, you might do it not right. But as you practice, you'll find your experience will teach you whether you're doing it right or not. Then you can keep fine-tuning your practice to get to the result eventually. So don't look at the result, because the result doesn't come by itself by looking at it. The result only comes by following the practice. If there's practice, then there will be result coming. So just focus on your practice. Okay.
Thank you so much. Ka.
Are you in meditation retreat right now?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for your guidance on my worry about my son. So I finally made it here.
Okay. How long you expect to stay in your retreat?
I've been here for since the 30th of October, and I'm trying to stay as long as possible until I made good progress. Well,
are you completely isolated all the time, or you have to join other people during the day?
I join we gather together during the day sometimes, but normally when we practice, I do it separately. We all do it separately.
And it's a quiet place?
It is a very quiet place, and I'm in a tent on my own. So
okay. Stay mindful. Don't forget mindfulness. Don't think too much.
ค่ะ
Okay.
ค่ะกราบขอบพระคุณพระอาจารย์เป็นอย่างสูงค่ะ Thank you so much.
Okay. I think we have covered everybody now. So it's a free for all. Anybody who wants to ask any question, just raise your hand and then unmute your microphone.
Yes, there are a question from Facebook.
Please go ahead.
Okay, lah.
There are 5 questions from Facebook,ท่านอาจารย์. The first question from Chi Ching Chuan. Dear Ajahn, can we donate cash to monk? Can monk accept monetary dana? Thank you.
Monk can receive, but not keep. It has to be kept by a lay person, a trusted lay person. So when you give donation, you can tell him how much you have given, and then the money will be kept by a trusted lay person. The monk cannot keep the money, cannot handle the money, but the money that's given to the monk can be kept by his trusted follower or disciple. And then when he needs to use the money, he will then tell the disciple to do it for him.
And next question, Paul Liang Soon, there are 2 questions. The first question is meditation give us merit?
Yes, the term merit means happiness of mind. See? So giving dana give you happiness of mind. Keeping the precept give you happiness of mind. And meditation also give you happiness of mind, but with different intensity. The happiness of mind is the highest one, the most, but it's the hardest one to get to. When you meditate, it doesn't mean you have merit yet, because you might not yet achieve the result. See? So it's hard to get to this merit from meditation. It's easy to get to the merit by giving to charity. You give your money away, you get the merit right away. You have the feeling good, right, happiness right away. But it's a very small amount as compared to the merit you can get from meditation.
And the second question is how to solve the busy condition in our mind when meditation?
You just have to use a mantra just to erase all the thoughts, stop you from thinking. Just keep reciting the mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto, or you like other mantras, you can use it also. You can use Dhammo, Sangho, Anicca, Anatta, anything, just to stop your mind from thinking.
And next question from San Lene. Hello, Ajahn. I have one question. When we keep mindfulness, in otherwise we can count numbers 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like in Visuddhimagga. So how do we change from Putto Putto like that?
Well, it depends on what you want to use. You want to use counting, you just use counting. If you want to use Bhutto, you just use Bhutto. You can choose whichever method you like to use. But normally, I haven't heard anybody get any success from counting. Counting might be a preliminary way of calming your mind, but not full concentration, not full calm. When your mind is restless, then you might use counting to calm your mind down. Once your mind becomes calm, then I think you should switch to watching your breath in order to bring your mind into deeper calm and concentration.
And next question from Ai. ท่านอาจารย์ does a person who attend jhana mean that the person keep atthasila? If so, then it means that one who has attend jhana cannot break atthasila. Thank you, ท่านอาจารย์
No, sila and jhana are two separate things. Yeah. You can have jhana, and when you come out of jhana, you can break the precept. If you don't have mindfulness to stop it, or if you don't have the determination to keep the precept, then you can break the precept. So the precept and the jhana are not linked together. Is that all?
Next question from Morris. นมัสการพระอาจารย์สุชาติ First, thank you for your fruitful teaching and answer. อนุโมทนาสาธุ with you all. I have a question, ท่านอาจารย์ Do we have advice for follow the path of noble family life? Thank you, ท่านอาจารย์
Can you repeat the question again?
Do you have advice for follow the path of noble family life? Thank you, ท่านอาจารย์
Noble family life is to maintain the 5 precepts, especially the 3rd precept, that of faithfulness to your partner, to your wife or your husband. Yeah. Only have one husband and one wife, not more than that. Then you will have a noble family, a happy family.
And next question from Ku Chi Long. Is it right when I meditate, my mind is empty without thoughts and closing all my 5 senses?
Yes, that's the goal. When you meditate, you eventually want to separate the mind from the body, from the sensual organs, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body.
That's all, ท่านอาจารย์
Okay. Anybody have any question? Please just raise your hand and then unmute your microphone.
Okay, Alexander. Okay, you can talk.
Again, thank you for the opportunity. It's I do that. I notice it's very, very efficient. I put the recording in my screen of computer, and then there are the numbers telling. So I follow those numbers. I let them fall, and then I say 1 after it falls, and 2 after it falls. So, and it really is can not as well can calm very much. Can anchor my mind as well. I can see clear how many times it goes out. So much, but I do it for 1 hour. Then I start to get already in a kind of trance. But you can really see that all the thoughts they have this. It doesn't matter. There is no one more important than the other. They are only thoughts. So that's what I realized through this method. And another thing that I do is walk meditation with a glass full of water. So because reminded this oil man who have to carry boiling oil on his head It's said in the Sutta, with a man with a big knife on his back, with beautiful women dancing. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it in the water. It does the same, and it starts very well for concentration, but later on, both situation, I fell back in the mantra in Bhutto, 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 naturally, or right and left when I'm walking, or when I'm telling the numbers, I start to say Bhutto, but I go straight to meditation. And so I got those experience of jhanas from very agitating mind, not the old day on Bhutto, 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 but with this technique 2 days after each other.
Okay. You have to find the method that suits you best. This method are just are not fixed for everybody. Everybody has different problem, so they need to find the right tool to solve their problem.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. As well, the positions and everything, everybody have to find his right position, right?
That's
is
right.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, we got a new coming one, Jean Jen. Jean Jen. You wanna talk? You can unmute yourself. Jean Jen, you wanna talk? Okay.
Oh, okay. Namaskar Phante. So,
where you from?
So now I stay in the Sri Lanka, but I am a Cambodian monk. I just study in Sri Lanka the first year this year. Okay, this is the first time for me. I look at income from the Facebook, so I saw the line. So I have one question I want to ask Phante about the Padibhata, and I mean that Samatha and Vipassana, and somebody they talk we should to do the Samatha first and the next Vipassana. So what are the difference between the when we practice the Samatha and Vipassana?
Okay. Samatha is to develop strength for the mind. Like the body, before you can go to work, you have to sleep. And then when the body get up, you have to eat to have the strength to go to work. The mind is like that. Before the mind can work in Vipassana, it has to sleep and eat first by going to Samadhi, by to jhana. So you have to practice Samatha first to give the mind the strength. Once the mind has the strength, then you can send the mind to go to work. Vipassana is to study the nature of the body, the feeling and the mental states, that they are anicca, dukkha, anatta. In order to get rid of your delusion, our delusion keeps thinking the body is us. We are the body, right? But the truth is the body is not us. The body is just made up of the 4 elements. And we are the mind who come into contact with the body, connected to the body. And one day the body and the mind will have to be separated. But with delusion, you don't want the body to be separated from the mind because you think you are the body. And this will cause you dukkha or suffering. But if you see the truth that the body is not you, and that you are the mind, and that whatever happens to the body doesn't happen to you, then you will not have any dukkha. This is vipassana. You need to have the strength to study this truth and then let go of your attachment at the same time. Without samatha, you cannot do that. Right now, you know that the body is not you, but you don't have the strength to separate yourself from the body.
So,
Okay.
can we define about the Satipatthana? The Buddhas teach the Satipatthana. There are 4 Satipatthana. So the 4 Satipatthana. So which one the Samatha and which one the Vipassana that the Buddha taught in the Satipatthana?
In the 4 Satipatthana, when you sit in meditation, anapanasati, that's samatha bhavana.
Yeah.
And when you study the nature of the body, this is vipassana. The body is anicca, birth, aging, sickness, and death. This is anicca. The body change. This anicca is not permanent. Eventually, it will return to the 4 elements. This is vipassana. You want to teach
So
them
in the first Satipatthana, Kayanupassana Satipatthana, so the Buddha divided just 2, the Samatha and the Vipassana. That's right.
You can use Kayanupassana for either samatha or vipassana. If you keep watching your body action, this is mindfulness or samatha. If you just keep watching your body, I'm standing, I'm walking, I'm sitting, I'm eating, this is called samatha or mindfulness. Sati, developing sati. And then when you sit in meditation, you watch your breath. This is also meditation for jhana, for samatha, for samadhi. But when you look at the changing nature of the body, this is vipassana. When you know that the body is just made up of the 4 elements, the earth the element, the water element, the wind element, and the fire element. This is vipassana. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think we have reached about 2 hours and 12 minutes into the meeting. So if anybody has any question, I'll allow you to have one or two questions.
There are questions from Facebook. 2 questions.
Okay.
Okay, La.
Go ahead, La.
First question from Chi Ching Chuan. Dear Ajahn, I cannot focus even I try to chant. Sometimes I use Putto, sometimes I use Itipiso. What is your suggestion for me to be focused? Should I use single word chanting or long sentence chanting? Thank you for your guidance.
You can adjust according to your need. Try different method. Single word, chanting long phrases, anything. Whichever one works, then you can use that one. But your mind keep changing also. Sometimes your mind like short sentences. Sometimes your mind like long sentences. So you just have to try different method when you develop mindfulness.
And the last question from Maurice. Thank you, Pra Ajahn, for your answer. I cannot join online. I am at work. Another question. Is it possible if a person has a family life and both follow and live by the 8 precepts? Can they both reach Sakitthakami and or Anakami?
By keeping the precept is not enough. Besides keeping the 8 precepts, you have to practice samatha and vipassana bhavana before you can become enlightened. You need the 8 precepts to support your practice of samatha and vipassana bhavana. Without keeping the 8 precepts, you won't have the strength or the time to practice samatha or vipassana bhavana.
That's
Okay.
all, Ajahn. Yes.
I think we have spent enough time. I think it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes right now. So if anybody have really any question, I'll allow for one or two more questions. If not, I would like to have to end this meeting for today.
Okay, Sri and check.
Okay, Sri, check.
And Ajahn, I came across one of your talk. You said that when the defilement comes strong, you react strongly, and when the defilement comes soft, you react softly. I don't quite understand that statement, Ajahn.
It means that you have to apply the right amount of pressure on your defilement. See? If it's a small defilement, then you don't need to use much force. If it's a strong, then you have to use more force. That's all. That's what it means.
But force, like, yeah, I guess I don't really understand.
If your defilement become persistent, then you have to be persistent in fighting it. If it's not persistent, it gives up easily, then you don't have to do much. You don't have to keep persisting. Just do the right amount to beat your opponent. Is what I'm saying. Don't use the tank to kill a rat. Use a rat trap for the rat.
Yeah. Okay, I got it now. Yeah, okay, that's good analogy. Yeah, and I want to thank you, Ajahn, for last week. You said to Monica, I think a very powerful message for me. You said that a lot of people underestimate the path, the noble eightfold path, as in it's like nice and easy, but it's the hardest path, and it's a war path, and it's harder than going to war. For me, that's such a powerful message to not underestimate the defilement, and to keep going, and to not give up, and to not
Don't be complacent. Don't be complacent.
Yeah, that's right. Like, it's so powerful, and so it just hit me in the heart.
And you have to take it seriously. It's not something for you just to play around with. You have to be really serious.
Sometimes I just didn't think that it's harder than a war, but it's a really good reminder from you that it's hard, but like, don't give up, and don't feel complacent. It's so powerful for me.
If you keep fighting, you will eventually win. Look at the Buddha and his noble disciple. They never give up. So they keep fighting until they eventually win.
Yeah.
Because the Dhamma always beat the opponent, the defilement. It's just a matter of you applying the Dhamma, that's all. We have the best weapon in the world to beat our opponent, which only happens once in a long time. Once in a while, we'll come across the Dhamma teaching of the Buddha. Without the teaching of the Buddha, we will have nothing to beat our opponent. So it's just a matter of using the Dhamma teaching to our benefit, that's all.
Yeah,
okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for the powerful message, Ajahn.
All right. Okay. I think this will cap our meeting for today. Thank you for your participation and patience by sitting and waiting and listening to other people's questions. But I hope they can be beneficial to you also, because the question, eventually you will have to come across it one day, if not now, sometime in the future. So thank you very much for participating, and I hope that it is of some benefit, and that I hope that your practice will be advancing and eventually reach your goal. See you in the next time. Goodbye for now.
Thank you so much.
Sadhu. Thank you. Thanks, love. Thanks, admin.
Thank you, admin.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Admin, thank you, La. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.